Hello everyone, I am back with another video today, and this video is on a very important topic, a very fundamental topic of the human psychology, and that topic is balance. In case of those individuals who are psychologically disturbed, we often refer to them as mentally imbalanced or that they have lost their mental balance, equilibrium. What do we mean by that? Consciously or unconsciously? So, in order to understand balance with reference to human psychology, it is necessary that we comprehend the mental structure. Our mind is very similar in its drives, but very different in their intensities. The ideal state is where each and each one of these instinctual drives in our minds are in balance. None should tip over. I'll give you an example. An internal drive can be a drive to eat, can be a drive to look good, can be a drive to have sex, can be a drive to create or a drive to destroy. All of these drives are necessary. However, when any one of these drives goes overboard or underboard, the balance starts to tilt and we start to lose our mental equilibrium. That is when the conditions of depression, anxiety, stress starts to set in. Now, stress is an important factor here because stress can be thought of as a force. If you think of the mind as a level that is on pillars, each drive is a pillar. Each drive is a pillar of the mind. And stress is like an external force that is being put on this level, this platform. If too much stress is put on one particular point, then the drive or the pillar that is below it might break or it might need to be strengthened in order to support or counteract that external stress. That is when the problem starts. So stress is like a causal factor that starts the cascade of other psychological conditions, be it depression, be it anxiety, or the many varied conditions associated to them. Depression can be of many types, even unipolar, or even your MDD, major depressive disorder, dysthymia, terminologies. So equally, even anxiety can be of many types. So that is the nature of stress in relation to the mental equilibrium. And how to prevent that? Now, we cannot prevent stress all the time because everything is not within our own control. The external environment, the variables, the factors that are in our surroundings that we interact with are not in our control. But what is in our control is how we deal with that, how we react to it. So, how do we regulate that? What do we do? The answer is balance. Each and every time that we encounter a stressful scenario, a stressful environment, we need to keep in our mind that balance is the key. Think of it like the yin and yang. The Taoists in the Taoism religion, they give it a very important concept, the balance of yin and yang. If we think of everything as like the yin as the night and yang as the day or sun and moon, so it's just like the perfect revolution, perfect rotation of day and night, perfect rotation of the sun and the moon. As one goes up, the other goes down. As one goes up, the other goes down. Without break, each and every 24 hours, each and every 12 hours in fact. Without miss. And this is how the world keeps on going. The same thing is applied to our minds as well, our psychology as well. We need to identify our triggers. We need to identify our drives. We need to realize that these drives are what makes us us, what defines us. Our minds are these drives that we are born with. If we just surrender ourselves to the external environment, then we will be turned into a caricature of perverted drives, to put it so. Our control over the way we react determines the way we turn out to be. If we cede that control, then we will just be at the mercy of nature, mercy of the environment, mercy of the interactive forces, nothing else. In a relationship, you cannot control how your wife behaves or your husband behaves, but you can control the way you react to their actions. See, actions are not within our control, but reactions are. Where does balance come in here? That is the key point. Suppose you are in a very stressful situation. Suppose there is stress of exam. Suppose your wife or your husband is too busy or too angry. What do? Let us take these two examples. One is of a family where the husband or the wife is too angry, and the one is of a boy or a girl, of a child, a student, where they are preparing for an exam or a job interview, and they are currently under tremendous stress. So how do each case, how do they deal with it? In the first case, if your spouse is too angry, they will act in certain ways. They will be like fire, ready to burn up, ready to burn out everything. If you in turn also act like a fire, also react like a fire, or like gasoline, start encouraging that fire, then do you think there will be combustion or not? Most often that is what leads to violence, domestic rapes, such things. So you need to, in that moment of time, instead of reacting violently like a gasoline to fire, you need to calm down. You need to try to stabilize the situation instead of reacting violently or aggressively, or even that can be like replying too aggressively. Don't reply aggressively in such circumstances. You might want to, you might be right. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is how you can control the way you react, and thus in turn control the outcome. The same thing. Now I'm not telling you to, if this person starts beating you, or if the situation starts getting violent, I'm not saying you just accept it as your fate. That will be surrendering to it. No, you do not do that. You achieve balance. You deal with that. How do you achieve balance? If your spouse gets violent, you call the police. You take help of somebody else, but the cool mind. The ideal scenario is where the point should not come. no spouse becomes violent overnight. Rarely. There are usually telltale signs. There is a cascade. If you can identify the problem and nip it in the bud, the outcome can be prevented. Now, in case of somebody who is preparing for exams or preparing for a job, the stressful scenario is too high. So, what do you do then? If you think of stress like a force that is pushing you in one direction, and you refuse to cede, you refuse to give way, what do you do then? The solution is to relax. For instance, if you are a wall made of brick and I or somebody throws a JCB at you, a bulldozer at you, if your wall will break. But if you are a ball of cotton, that bulldozer, its pure force will just be absorbed by you and it will go back. That is the state of mind necessary in stressful scenarios. If you are feeling too much pressure of exam or job preparation or any kind of job you are doing, then you need to be soft like cotton. You need to absorb it like cotton. You need to relax. Relax the mind, give it a break. Give it occasional breaks. That will absorb this blunt force of the stress. And you will be able to come back into the game as a renewed person, with renewed zest, with renewed energy. Okay. We will talk about control in another video. It's also a very fundamental topic. But this video, I want to talk about balance. So in all aspects of our life, we need to maintain this balance. If we are too angry, we need to calm down and we need to be stable. If we are too sad, or if we are too unmotivated, or say if we lack confidence at all, then we need to start doing karate, kung fu or MMA or any kind of activity that will instill confidence in us. That is how you change your thinking pattern. That is how you gain balance in life. If you are a person who works too much and doesn't give time to your family, then you know what to do. Reduce the time in one and increase the time in the other, so that you achieve balance. All psychological disorders stem from balance. Even schizophrenia stems from imbalance, because schizophrenia is like the loss of distinction between reality and fantasy. That is, you see, both conditions of reality and fantasy exist in each one of us. We dream, we imagine, we fantasize. But we also know what is real and what is not. In schizophrenics, they lose touch of that. The key factor, whether using drugs, pharmacotherapy, medicine, or using psychotherapy, is to help that individual find the balance whereby they can identify which is real and which is not, which is fantasy, which is reality. So for us also to lead a healthy life, the key is maintaining this balance in every aspect. Thank you for today, and I'll be back with another video.